It's Dave, Bill, and Carmen here at the Joy FM. We're with Louie Giglio talking about Not Forsaken, and we started chapter 7, I think it is, talking about the perfection of God, and you've told the Shelley story. Now, the two other things that I wanted you to cover, that one little 2-letter word in John 3:16.
Man, I hope I get this right.
And the way, God basically, in some ways, painted you a poster in the Georgia Dome. So,
yeah. So the little word in John 3:16, it looks like a throwaway, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I mean, we want to just say God loved the world. That's a pretty straightforward statement. But that one little word, so, why is that in there? God so loved the world. Or to make it more personal, he so loves you today. Not just a matter-of-fact statement, I love you, but he so loves us. And I think it just goes to the extravagance of the heart of God towards each one of us. Mm-hmm. That it's not a contractual, okay, I'm God and I am love, so I should love you, so I love you. But when Jesus says it, he says, for he so loved the world. And I think that just helps us know today that God is heavily leveraged in this equation today. He really, really, really is longing for us to wake up and have that revelation moment, to see him as he is, and to see that he's been pursuing us the whole time. Mm-hmm. And even through the clouds and through the dark times and the confusing times. And for me, that was the disability of my dad. A year into our marriage, Shelley and I get a phone call. My dad has gone into a coma. He's at the hospital. He's going to die. Turns out he has a brain virus, has to have emergency brain surgery that night. It follows with a stroke, and my dad now is instantly disabled, physically and mentally. And for 7 years, that's my dad's life. And that all happened right in the moment where we were leading a campus ministry at Baylor, struggling to be in Texas while my mom was caring for my dad in Atlanta. So every 6 months, I'm like, God, please let us go to Atlanta to help take care of Dad. Finally, God says, you can go to Atlanta. We transition. We get ready to leave our ministry at the end of the spring. We're moving to Atlanta at the 1st of May. My dad dies of a heart attack on April the 28th at the end of 7 years of disability. And now we've said goodbye to our ministry in Texas. Mm-hmm. We've already set the wheels in motion to move to Atlanta, and my dad is gone. And if you don't think that's confusing, then you haven't walked through one of those moments where you go, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And I never really did get a complete answer, and I don't think I ever will, to why my dad got sick, why my dad had to become disabled, why my dad went through all the suffering that he went through. But fast forward to Passion 2013, the Georgia Dome, 65,000 college students, the biggest event we'd ever done in a ministry that was born out of that cloudy season. So now we've left Texas. We don't know what we're doing. God plants passion in our hearts, and we're like, okay, we're available. All these years later now, from 1995 all the way now, we're up to 2013. We walk in, Passion 2013. I walk up to the stage at the middle of the field, 50-yard line, circular stage. And as I'm walking up onto the steps, I remember being there the night before for the college football game that had happened the night before. I had given the invocation for that game, of all things, and had stood right out on that field. The game ends. They quickly cover the field with a thick Terraplast, a plastic cover. They come in, set up our production, set up our stage. 24 hours later, I'm walking up onto the Passion stage, but the logo for the football game is still at the 50-yard line under the stage. And I can't breathe. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm walking up on a stage built on top of the Chick-fil-A logo. A logo that my dad did what we now know as the current Chick-fil-A logo design for in 1964. My dad designed the chicken-headed C Chick-fil-A logo. And here I am all these years later, and it's not an answer to why. It's not God explaining why things went the way they went. It's just God affirming and saying, I've been in this the whole time. I've been with you the whole time. I'm working all things for good, just like I promised to do. And you're going to lead for 4 days standing on top of your father's logo. at the biggest event Passion has ever done. And it was just another confirmation. And God has a way of confirming in our path in life that he is with us, that he loves us, that he's for us. And yes, there's a lot against us in life. Yes, there's a lot of headwind in life and a lot of pain in life and a lot of hurt in life. But God, he triumphs through all of that. And he's working today through all of it to accomplish his best and to get glory for himself.